Welcome to Think About It with your host, Jaden Miller.
Good evening, and thank you for joining me on my podcast, Think About It with Jaden Miller. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and to like and follow and share and comment on your favorite podcast platform. The last episode of this show that I did was on bullying, and it focused on bullying at the grade school, middle school, junior high school, or the high school level. So we talked about the trauma surrounding bullying and that kind of thing. And of course, that's for those kids, let's just say from kindergarten through, the completion of their senior year in high school. Well, of course, then those kids grow up and they become adults, all right? And then, of course, they transition into the workplace. Well, what happens in the workplace? Do bullies stop bullying? Do the bullied stop being bullied? Okay. There's this phenomenon called workplace bullying. And so I want to explore that today. Also, I'm going to give you an update on the Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie case. You'll recall that case centers around this young woman and her fiance that had been traveling throughout the United States. Unfortunately, she met an untimely death. And then, of course, Mr. Laundrie traveled back to Florida and was with his family for 10 days before Gabby Petito was even reported missing. And so I've got an update for you on that story as well. But let's talk about bullying. And again, thank you for joining me, Jaden Miller, on my podcast, Think About It with Jaden Miller. What is workplace bullying? What is workplace bullying? Well, workplace bullying is a harmful, targeted behavior that, of course, happens at work. It might be spiteful, offensive, mocking, or intimidating. It forms a pattern, and it tends to be directed at one person or a few people. So let's talk about some of the examples of workplace bullying, okay? It could be practical jokes, targeted practical jokes, being purposely misled about work duties like incorrect deadlines or unclear directions, continued denial of requests for time off without an appropriate or valid reason, threats, humiliation, and other verbal abuse. So yes, the same kind of bullying in that regard that happens in the middle schools or elementary schools or high schools happens in the workplace. Excessive performance monitoring, okay, when you're under constant review by a supervisor or a boss, all right, or overly harsh or unjust criticism, all right. So these are some of the examples of bullying in the workplace. Criticism or monitoring isn't always bullying. Okay, for example, objective and constructive criticism and disciplinary action directly related to workplace behavior or job performance aren't considered bullying. But criticism meant to intimidate, humiliate, or single someone out without reason would be considered bullying. According to the Workplace Bullying Institute, more than 60 million working people in the United States are affected by bullying. So think about that for a minute with Jaden Miller. 60 million working people in the United States are affected by bullying. That's a lot of people that are impacted by this. So the other day I talked about in schools why we need to do something about bullying. Why? Because if we don't do something about bullying at the school level, okay, then these same bullies are going to move into the adulthood and workplace, okay, and continue their bullying there. Existing federal and state laws only protect workers against bullying when it involves physical harm or when the target belongs to a protected group, such as people living with disabilities or people of color. Since bullying is often verbal or psychological in nature, it may not always be visible to others. All right. So let's talk about some ways to identify workplace bullying. All right. Understand that bullying doesn't always have to be physical. It can be subtle. All right. One helpful way to identify bullying is to consider how others might view what's happening. This can depend, at least partially, on the circumstances. But if most people would see a specific behavior as unreasonable, it's generally bullying. All right. So here are some of the types of bullying behaviors that you may see. All right. Verbal. This includes mockery, humiliation, jokes, gossip, or other spoken abuse. Intimidating. This might include threats, social exclusion in the workplace, spying, or other invasions of privacy. Related to work performance. Bullying behaviors related to work performance might include wrongful blame, work sabotage, or interference, or stealing or taking credit for ideas. All right, these are the types of bullying. Retaliatory. In some cases, talking about the bullying can lead to accusations of lying, further exclusion, refused promotions, or other retaliation. And then finally, institutional. Institutional bullying happens when a workplace accepts, allows, and even encourages bullying to take place. This bullying might include unrealistic production goals, forced overtime, or singling out those who can't keep up. All right. Just like bullying at school, bullying behavior is repeated over time in the workplace. So it sets it apart from harassment, which is often limited to a single instance. Persistent harassment can become bullying, but since harassment refers to actions toward a protected group of people, it's illegal, unlike bullying. Okay? So there are some early warning signs of bullying, but they can vary. All right? So we're talking about bullying in the workplace today. All right? We talked about bullying at schools in the previous episode, but today we're talking about what happens when you don't deal with those individuals that are bullying. Okay? We're talking about what happens to the bullied when they become adults and move into the workplace. They are still being bullied, or they can become bulliers. All right. So let's talk about some of the early warning signs of bullying. All right. And again, they can vary. So I want you to think about it. Coworkers might become quiet or leave the room when you walk in, or they might simply ignore you. Okay. These are some early warning signs of bullying. Here's another one. You might be left out of office culture, such as chit-chat, parties, or team lunches. All right. Your supervisor or manager might check on you often or ask you to meet multiple times a week without a clear reason. You may be asked to do new tasks or tasks outside your typical duties without training or help, even when you request it. All right. Here's another one. It may seem like your work is frequently monitored to the point where you begin to doubt yourself and have difficulty with your regular task. You might be asked to do difficult or seemingly pointless tasks and be ridiculed or criticized when you can't get them done. And then finally, here's another warning sign of bullying. You may notice a pattern of your documents, files, or other work-related items or personal belongings going missing. All right. These incidents may seem random at first. If they continue, you may worry something you did cause them and fear you'll be fired or demoted. Thinking about work, even on your time off, may cause anxiety and dread. All right. So these types of things, as I mentioned, if we don't do anything about them at the school age, then they become problems in the workplace. All right. So who gets bullied and who does the bullying? All right. So let's see if we can see some similarities between who gets bullied and who does the bullying for adults in the workplace and those in middle school. So if you need to, go back and listen to my episode prior to this one, Bully or Bullied. Okay. All right. So here we go. Who gets bullied and who does the bullying? All right. Anyone can bully others. According to research from the Workplace Bullying Institute, about 70% of bullies are male and about 30% are female. So yes, females can be bullies. All right. Both male and female bullies are more likely to target women. 61% of bullying comes from bosses or supervisors. All right. Now, remember, it's these kids, all right, that were bullying people in junior high school, in elementary school, in high school. Now they become someone's boss. All right. 33% comes from coworkers. The remaining 6% occurs when people at lower employment levels bully their supervisors or others above them. And that's something, okay? Here you are, you're not even a supervisor, but you have this imbalance of power, whatever it may be, and you bully your supervisor. That's why, folks, you got to do something about these people that bully, all right? Protected groups are bullied more frequently. Only 19% of people bullied were white. Now that says something too. I mean, in terms of racial groups, in terms of gender, only 19% of people bullied were white. Bullying from managers might involve abuse of power, including negative performance reviews that aren't justified, shouting, or threats of firing or demotion, or denying time off or transfer to another department. People working at the same level often bullied through gossip. All right. So when we look back at school-age children, they're all on the same level. They may be in the same grade, or they may be in different grades. Okay. But all in all, they're in the same level. It's usually the same age group. Okay. But people working at the same level often bullied through gossip, work sabotage, or criticism. Bullying can occur between people who work closely together, but it also happens across departments. People who work in different departments may be more likely to bully through email or by spreading rumors. Isn't that something? All right, so even at adulthood, all right, these things happen. And the funny thing about it is this, okay? The reason why we still have so much bullying in elementary schools and middle schools or junior high schools and high schools is because adults that have been bullied or do the bullying don't speak up. They don't do anything about it. And in fact, they may even encourage, inadvertently their children to do the same, to cause the same types of actions that they do. All right. Lower level employees can bully those working above them. It can happen. For example, someone might show continued disrespect to their manager, refuse to complete tasks, spread rumors about the manager, or do things to make their manager seem incompetent. All right. So you can even bully your boss. All right. These people that like to bully have so much power in some instances. All right. So according to more research from the Workplace Bullying Institute, people believed that targets of bullying were more likely to be kind, compassionate, cooperative, and agreeable. All right. So you see someone that's willing to help, or someone that seems really eager to do a good job, or someone that is compassionate, or someone that is cooperative, then these people become targets. All right. So what happened to people being nice? Why isn't that a great thing? Because sometimes those people that sit back in the lurch, or sit back in the cut, like we used to say on the south side of Chicago, then what they'll do is they're just people in waiting, okay? All right? And they're looking for the softest target, someone that they can exert their awful bullying behavior upon, all right? So bullying may occur more frequently in work environments that are stressful or change frequently, all right? Have heavy workloads, have unclear policies about employee behavior, have poor employee communication and relationships, and have more employees who are bored or worried about job security. See, there's that idle mind thing. So they don't have enough to do. So guess what? Why not mess with somebody? Why not bother somebody? Okay. So we pick on those people that, are compassionate or kind people that are agreeable and cooperative. I think, again, it's a shame. And these are the same types of things that people in our schools do to other kids in the schools. Okay. It's like they just find that weakest target. Okay. And they execute Okay, their awful behavior on these people. So let's talk about how can bullying affect your health. Again, you're with me, Jaden Miller, on Think About It with Jaden Miller. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and continue to follow me, comment on your favorite podcast channel. I'm on Spotify and Google Podcast and a whole host of other ones. So please continue to listen. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate your support. All right, so how can bullying affect your health? Bullying can have significant, serious effects on physical and mental health. Well, one thing is you just don't want to go to work. Okay, think about it. You just don't want to go to work because guess what is going to happen? The same type of behaviors that you may have dealt with in school, now they're happening to you as an adult. All right. So yes, it can have significant, serious effects. All right. In some instances, while leaving a job or changing departments could end the bullying, this isn't always possible. You need a job. Even when you can remove yourself from the bullying environment, the impact of bullying can last long after bullying has stopped. All right. So here's the physical effects of the physical health effects of bullying. If you're being bullied, you may feel sick or anxious before work or when thinking about work. Absolutely. Just like kids that are in school, they feel sick or anxious about going to school. All right. They have physical symptoms such as digestive issues or high blood pressure. They have a higher risk for type 2 diabetes. They have trouble waking up or getting quality sleep. They have somatic symptoms such as headaches and decreased appetite. All of these things as a result of the behaviors of ugly people have an impact on people's physical health. All right. Here are some of the mental health effects of bullying. Psychological effects of bullying may include thinking and worrying about work constantly, even during time off, dreading work and wanting to stay home. How many of you all have felt that? All right. Needing time off to recover from stress, losing interest in things you usually like to do, increased risk for depression and anxiety, suicidal thoughts, low self-esteem, self-doubt, or wondering if you've imagined the bully. All right. All right. So all of these things have an impact on the individual. Okay. But they also have a major impact on the workplace. All right. Workplaces with high rates of bullying can also experience negative consequences, such as financial loss resulting from legal costs or bullying investigations. All right. See, when a person files a complaint, then someone has to stop their regular job and go investigate bullying. They've got to investigate harassment, all of these types of things, okay? Why? Because people won't just do the right thing. You've been hired for a job, you're in this position, then do the job. But you don't want to just do the job. You want to bully other people. You want to bring your negativity to the workplace, okay, and exert some form of control over other people, or some criticism or some rumors, all of those kinds of things. That same stuff that was going on in middle school, you want to bring that into the workplace. That's why I state emphatically that it's important to do something about bullying when it begins at school. All right. Another way that it affects the workplace is decreased productivity and morale, increased employee absences, high turnover rates. Why am I going to work at a place where I'm being bullied? Why am I going to work someplace and I'm not appreciated? Why am I going to work at a place that I'm constantly criticized? Okay. Why am I going to work at a place when I'm cooperative and collaborative and want to get along with people? I'm kind, but yet I'm met with all kinds of negativity. All right. There's also poor team dynamics. And then, of course, reduced trust, effort, and loyalty from employees. All of these things have a major effect on the workplace, just like they have a major effect at school. All right. People who bully may eventually face consequences such as formal reprimands, transfer, or job loss. But many types of bullying aren't illegal. Okay. They may be against company policy, but that doesn't make them illegal. Okay. When bullying isn't addressed, it becomes easier for people to continue bullying, especially when the bullying is subtle. Bullies who take credit for work or intentionally make others look bad may end up receiving praise or being promoted. All right, I'm talking about bullying today. I'm talking about workplace bullying. In my previous episode, I talked about bullying at school. And I'm talking about this not because I was bullied or because I was someone that bullied others. I'm talking about it because I see the profound impacts and the effects that it has on our society. Okay? All right? We see it in politics, folks. Come on, be honest. All right? We see it in everyday life. We see it at the grocery store. We see it when we go out walking or we go out hiking or we go to an amusement park or we go to a restaurant. We see bullying, okay? It happens quite often, as you know, all right? So what to do if you're being bullied at work? Let's talk about how to deal with this, when this silliness is impacting you. Well, when experiencing bullying, it's common to feel powerless and unable to do anything to stop it. If you try to stand up to the bully, you may be threatened or told no one will believe you. If it's your manager bullying you, you may wonder who to tell. All right. Well, here, some advice. First, take a moment to remind yourself that bullying is never your fault, regardless of what triggered it. All right. Think about it while I do this one more time. Take a moment to remind yourself that bullying is never your fault, regardless of what triggered it. Even if someone bullies you by making it seem like you can't do your job, bullying is more about power and control, not your workability. All right? So these are the things that I want you to do if you're being bullied at work. Begin to take action against bullying, okay? Use these steps. First of all, you should start documenting the bullying. Keep track of all bullying actions in writing. Note the date, the time, where the bullying took place, and other people who were in the room. You want to start keeping a record of what's going on. All right. Save physical evidence. This is another thing that you can do. All right. Save physical evidence. Keep any threatening notes, comments, or emails you receive, even if they're unsigned. If there are documents that can help prove bullying, such as denied time off or overly harsh commentary on assigned work, and so on, keep these in a safe place. Report the bullying. Now, I know this is a major step for people, but you've got to report it. Your workplace may have a designated person you can talk to if you don't feel safe talking to your direct supervisor. Human resources is a good place to start. It's also possible to talk about the bullying with someone higher up if your supervisor is unhelpful or is the person doing the bullying. All right. This is one thing that I really like. All right. Confront the bully. If you know who's bullying you, bring along a trusted witness, such as a coworker or supervisor, and ask them to stop if you feel comfortable doing so. All right. Be calm, direct, and polite. See, there's this one thing that bullies are, okay? Cowards. All right. Yep, I said it. Bullies are cowards. Now, yeah, they may have physical strength or they may appear to have some advantage over you. But the reason why they do this stuff is because internally they've got some kind of insecurity. All right. So you need to confront them. Usually when you confront a bully, they will back down. Okay. They will. All right. Your strength is in numbers and your ability to have confidence in what you have to say when you want to confront the bully. All right. Simply telling them to stop. All right. Sometimes that's enough to do the trick. All right. Review work policies. Your employee handbook may outline steps of action or policies against bullying. Also consider reviewing state or even federal policies about the type of bullying you're experiencing. If you can afford it, seek legal counsel, okay, or guidance. Consider talking to a lawyer depending on the circumstances of the bullying. Legal action may not always be possible, but a lawyer can offer specific advice. And then, of course, reach out to others. All right. Coworkers may be able to offer support. Talking to your loved ones about the bullying can also help. You can also talk to a therapist. They can provide professional support and help you explore ways to cope with the effects of bullying while you take other action. All right. So remember again, especially if you were bullied in school, now you're being bullied in the workplace. All right. It's just time to stop. Don't you want to feel good about yourself? So maybe you can't do anything about what happened in school, okay? But you can certainly do something about it as an adult. Stop letting other adults bully you. Stop allowing people that did so in school to continue this harmful behavior as adults. All right. So again, there are so many things that you can do. What can you do if you witness bullying? Okay. So here you are, you're sitting off in a cubicle across the way and you've been witnessing these things. All right. Well, folks, don't just continue to let that happen. If you witness bullying, speak up. People often say nothing out of fear they'll become the targets, but ignoring bullying contributes to a toxic work environment. All right. So, yeah, it may not be happening to you. All right. But then what are you going to do? Just allow someone else, all right, to be bullied? What does that say about you? All right. What happened to citizenship? All right. What happened to being my brother's keeper? Okay. All right. So we talk about these things, outside of work. Okay. But now we're at work. Okay. So if we didn't allow someone to be targeted and victimized outside of work, why are we going to allow that to happen at work? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right. So workplace policies against bullying can help people feel safer about speaking up when they see bullying happen. If you witness bullying, you can help by offering support. Support could involve acting as a witness if the person targeted wants to ask the bully to stop. You can also help by going to HR with your coworker. All right. Be a good friend. All right. Don't just allow this to continue, because what happens to them today could happen to you tomorrow. All right. Here's another way you can help if you witness bullying. Listening. If your coworker doesn't feel safe going to HR, they may feel better having someone to talk about the situation. All right. Reporting the incident. Your account of what happened could help your management team realize that, yes, there's a problem. All right. So if one person says it, the victim, and they don't have any corroborating witnesses, then it's usually their word against the bully's word. But if you've seen something, then you can come to the aid of your coworker, maybe your friend. All right. Here's another one. Finally, staying close to your coworker when possible. Having a supportive coworker nearby could help reduce instances of bullying. All right. So again, like I talked to you all about schools, bullying is a serious issue in many workplaces. While many companies have a zero tolerance policy, bullying can sometimes be hard to recognize or prove, making it difficult for managers to take action. Other companies may not have any policies about bullying. Taking steps to prevent workplace bullying can benefit organizations and the health of their employees. If you've been bullied, know you can safely take steps to combat the bullying without confronting the perpetrator. Remember to take care of your health first. Again, folks, we can stop bullying. We can stop bullying in schools. We can stop bullying, or at least minimize it, of course. Of course, we can never totally stop bullying, but we can minimize it. And we can certainly minimize it in the workplace. And again, that's stopping these people that do this stuff as kids, all right, making sure that there are clear repercussions and consequences for their behavior when they're school age, so that they will stop these silly behaviors, these mean and awful, mean girl behaviors, and bring them with them into the workplace. All right, we need to stop it. All right, we need to nip it, like Barney Fife used to say on Andy Griffith's show. We need to nip it in the bud. Okay, that's what we need to do. All right, so we've been talking about bullying. On my last episode, we talked about bullying at school. Today, we're talking about being bullied in the workplace. So I want to transition into something else that we found out going on today. And in previous episodes, you've heard me talk about the Gabby Petito case, all right? And as you recall, Gabby Petito was the young lady that had been traveling across the United States in a white van, all right, with her fiance, Brian Laundrie, all right. Unfortunately, they had several arguments along the way, and her remains were found in a national forest in Wyoming. Well, I've been keeping up with this case and reporting on it from time to time. Well, it now seems as though there is some human remains and some items belonging to Brian Laundrie, and they've been found in the Carlton Reserve in Northport, Florida. All right, so his backpack and some other items. All right, is this Brian Laundrie? Has Brian Laundrie finally been found? Think about it. Okay. Another one of the items found was a notebook belonging to Laundrie. Okay. And remember, Brian Laundrie was a person of interest in the murder of his fiance, Gabby Petito. All right. The apparent remains were found in an area that has been underwater until recently. Okay. A source close to the investigation says that the apparent human remains appear to have been there a while. Now, remember, we haven't seen Brian Laundrie since sometime in early September, okay, or mid-September. He went after returning from Wyoming in Gabby Petito's van without Gabby Petito, all right, went for a couple of days on a camping trip with his parents, all right, and then hasn't been seen since. So we're talking about over a month now, all right. There's a source that said, based on the condition of the remains, it may take some time to officially identify. It is going to be a very thorough process with the medical examiner. All right. So the area where the discovery of remains was made was the very area of the park that law enforcement were initially told about. All right. The FBI, of course, is involved in this case, along with the Northport Police Department. And they told the reporters last night that they intended to come to the park on Wednesday, which was today, to search for Laundrie. So they've been continuing to search for him. And it was yesterday night, last night, and early today that when the parents were walking the trail, followed, of course, closely by law enforcement, they saw these remains and saw these belongings belonging to Mr. Laundrie. All right. So this case has been intriguing us here in the United States for some time. You'll recall how we got here, and I just mentioned that Petito and Laundrie were traveling across the United States in their white van. They were regularly posting photos and stories to their social media pages, but these posts abruptly stopped in late August. And Laundrie then returned back to his family in Northport, okay, or North Point rather, Florida, and he returned without Gabby, okay, and Gabby Petito's family were unable to contact her. And it wasn't until 10 days later that they reported her missing. So we're talking about around September 10th. And then, of course, there was a national search that was launched. All right. So initially, Laundrie declined to cooperate with the investigation into her whereabouts. And soon after, he also went missing. Okay. All right. And then his family said that they believe he had gone to a nature reserve nearby. All right. And so again, this case is still ongoing. All right. I'm sure that the medical examiners are going to need some time, but it does seem as though there's this possibility that Brian Laundrie now may have ended up deceased as well. So I'll stay abreast of this case as well, and I will continue to report on this as well. All right. So folks, as I get ready to end, let me just share with you that I am actually getting married on Saturday. All right. And so I think what I'm going to do is take this next week off to celebrate with my new bride. And we're going to have a nice, beautiful honeymoon. So I am not going to have an episode this coming Sunday and Wednesday, but I will return to you all that following Sunday, which I believe to be Halloween. Okay. So on Halloween, that'll be my next episode. Again, I thank you all for joining me. Like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Continue to follow me, listen, like, follow, comment on your favorite podcast platform. If you haven't listened to some of my previous episodes, please feel free and go back and listen to those. I think that they may be quite interesting. All right, and we'll get you caught up and then keep you interested while I go off and celebrate my new marriage over the next week. All right. So again, I thank you all for listening to me, Jaden Miller, on Think About It with Jaden Miller. I look forward to bringing the next issue to you for you to think about next time. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Think About It with Jaden Miller. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his YouTube channel and like and follow on your favorite podcast platform.